I'm ready to work with a ring. Time is a valuable game, and you cannot stop the machine. I'm ready to rock with the team. I'm ready to work with a ring. Time is a valuable game, and you cannot stop the machine.
32-31 as we get set for the start of the second half. We know this about the Aggies. They're a tough out, even when they're not shooting it well from three. But in a first half like this case, where they did get off to a fast start, they can challenge a contender like San Diego State.
That's crazy, though. Look at this number, JB. 59%, and they're still down, right? And that's what goes to what you're saying. Utah State, this team is competitive on both ends of the floor. They've lost a lot of close games, but they want to finish this one out.
Take us through these first 20 minutes.
Well, Utah State busted out of the starting gates with a ton of energy, tremendous ball movement, and threes aplenty. The Aggie trio of Brandon Horvath, Stephen Ashworth, and Max Shulga combined to make 6 threes against this very stout San Diego State Aztec defense. But the Aztecs offense did come alive, and they were led by their seniors. Let's start with Matt Bradley, their leading scorer. He's got 7 points. Most of his damage done in isolation plays just like this one. And then their big-time sixth man, this is Adam Seiko, a senior. He dropped 2 threes of his own. JB, this is a one-possession game here in Logo, just the way I like them.
One thing I'd add is a couple of starters, Sean Bairstow and Nathan Mensah for Utah State and San Diego State respectively, each limited to only 7 minutes of contributions because of a couple of fouls, KC.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Mensah, he is one of the best defensive bigs. And so you look up at the board, how did Utah State get 32 points and shoot 46% from the field in that first half? Part of it was because Mensah he was on the bench.
8 was the largest lead for Utah State. San Diego State only held a 1-point lead for less than a minute. So that's kind of the story of the first session. Here we go with the second half, and Utah State with the possession, looking to snap a 4.5-minute drought going back to the end of the first. There's Bairstow back in, had his first attempt blocked between 3 Aztecs. It's taken away by Mensah.
Well, that play was meant for Justin Bean, but he gave it up to Bairstow down there.
Mensah using the shot fake, and taking the contact from Horvath, couldn't finish. Bean with the board, he'll bring it himself.
Like to see him be a lot more aggressive here in the second half. Justin Bean, there's nothing that he can't do on the offensive end of the court, but isolating yourself back to the basket against Mensah, probably not the best idea.
I wonder if deflection is going to become an official stat.
Every program in the country has Idle Rock. Hey, he's been awesome. But go back to deflection, JB. Every program in the nation charts them. They chart deflections and they chart charges drawn, charges taken. Those are 2 of the best measures of your defensive activity.
That's all we ever hear about, and yet it's treated like proprietary information that we can't tap into. Bradley on the step back. There goes Bean again to the defensive glass.
Flying in.
Idle Rock takes the contact and converts in transition.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Idle Rock. He had 14 points in their last game against Boise, but most of that damage was done at the foul line. He was 8 for 8 from the free throw line against the Broncos. Tonight he's burying his shoulder and moving the Aztec defenders backwards.
Lamont Butler backs it out. 10 to shoot, and Bean defending. He lifts. Could not hit. It rattles out to the corner. So a slow shooting start for both sides. Idle Rock off the mark. Bean on the offensive glass.
Player in the Mountain West that is averaging a double-double, and I look, there's only 14 players in the entire country that are averaging a double-double, and you can see why Bean averages 10 rebounds a game. He goes after everything.
Bradley downhill, puts it up for Mensah.
Get 2 feet in the paint, you draw 2. All you have to do is throw it up to your athletic center. Mensah is ready for those.
Bairstow downhill and to the free throw line.
Justin Bean is often outside of the lane on both ends of the floor, but a shot goes up and he comes just flying in. He was spotted up at the three-point arc on that possession. If you are guarding him, you have to pay attention. A shot goes up, and I would actually recommend, if you're guarding Justin Bean, you face guard him on the block out, because he'll just swim move and get past you. He's like Aaron Donald of the Rams. It's going to take two guys to block him off, right? By the way, folks, if you don't know, my partner, JB Long, is the radio voice of the LA Rams, who are playing this Sunday
against
the Niners, who have dominated, owned the Rams the last couple of years.
Not here, not on this platform, not in these 2 hours, please, Casey.
That's what they all say.
Utah State has pushed it out to a 7-point edge, winning this half 8-2 so far. Lamont Butler spinning to Bradley.
Two Aggies have gone down defensively. No flop warning.
Trey Pulliam. And now we get the whistle. I think we're going back to it, Casey.
Is that a flop warning? It might be the second one on them, right? Or was that San Diego State in the first half? It's hard to remember, partner, but there was a flop warning in the first half. Can't recall who was on. Obviously, it's not on.
It was down here, so
Utah
the first
State
one got rescinded, we're told.
Got it.
By Randy McCall, Chris Rastetter, and Michael Irving, our crew tonight.
Yeah, the first one's a warning. Second one's a flagrant. Results in free throws in the ball. They're going to switch everything. Aztecs are all ball screens. And now Matt Bradley's guarding Horvath down low, number 4. He wants it. He's calling for it.
A dozen for Ashworth to lead the way in the first half. This time feeding the three-point line. A ball fake and a shot for Monroe. Came with Ryan Odom from UMBC. And he's got 7 points to push the lead out to double figures.
They need Ida Rock. He's got a scorer's mentality. He led the Retrievers in scoring last year. And with a couple guys down, they could use him.
Ashworth on the throw ahead to Bairstow. And the follow from Brandon Horvath. Here comes the Spectrum again, Casey.
So much fun. This atmosphere is awesome here in Logan. The Herd, we hear you. You got to play the full 94 feet, right? If you're grinding it out in the half court against San Diego State, it's not a lot of fun. Get out and run. That's what the Aggies are doing.
Sunday, the NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax Live is on Fox with a clash between division rivals as Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers take on Matthew Stafford and the Rams for a trip to Super Bowl 56. It all kicks off at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
So, like, how early to the SoFi Stadium do you get, JB? Like, are you there like 9 a.m. waiting for the kickoff all day?
I might go Saturday night.
That's it. That's it.
Sleep in the booth. Gonna change something up. 3 straight season sweeps for San Francisco. But they did the Rams a favor, taking out Green Bay and bringing the NFC Championship game to Inglewood. Here, Utah State has a double-digit advantage over San Diego State on the strength of a 7-0 run.
And let's give all the players the credit they deserve, but how about this crowd? They've been behind this Aggie team from the start.
Chad Baker-Mazzara. Did they ever need that?
He has raised his points per game average in Mountain West play. He averages 5 on the season, but 9 points per game in the 4 Mountain West Conference games. Getting better as the season is going along.
Including a season-high 14 against a very good Colorado State group, the last to lose in college basketball this year. Horvath had it poked away and claimed by Matt Bradley.
The only team to beat Colorado State this year was San Diego State, right? They won by 30. I couldn't believe that, but Colorado State was coming off a long COVID pause. A little bit of an excuse there, but still, that margin of victory shocked me.
Diabate's miss leads to numbers for Utah State. And nice play by Baker Mazzara to deny Sean Bairstow. Utah State has hit 5 of its last 7. Take a look back at some recent Mountain West Championship games. San Diego State over New Mexico in 18, and then this run of 3 consecutive springs featuring the 2 programs, Casey, we've got tonight, Utah State and the Aztecs.
These are the cream of the crop when it comes to Mountain West Conference hoops, man. These 2 programs, of course, Craig Smith is now the head coach for the Utah Utes in the Pac-12, and that led to Ryan Odom coming over here. But let's revisit my team goals, JB. Look, I thought San Diego State would have the advantage on the glass. That certainly has not been the case. Aggies out rebounding the Aztecs 21-13, and Justin Bean has 8 rebounds on his own. And then Utah State, the backcourt scoring. Man, was that true? Obviously, Ashworth came in out of the gates, got 4 threes, but 0 threes in the second half for Ashworth.
They've got a 13-5 edge, USU does, since the break. Even though Ashworth's supply channels have been cut off. You mentioned adjusting the scouting report after he ripped off a dozen in the opening session. They've done a better job on him defensively.
Yeah, it's now Lamont Butler, number 5 right here, guarding Ashworth. It's his job. He's probably not going to have a lot of help responsibility for the rest of this game. We lost him there.
They rotate it through Bairstow. RJ Idlerock has got some looks on the other side of the floor. Spinning into a charge here. It's turnover number 10 for USU.
This first rebound is on the Aggies.
Gap help, gap coverage here. And you don't need it if Adam Seiko is fine on an island. I talked to their assistant coach, Chris Acker, for San Diego State, and he's like, we don't shade. We shade to one side or the other. We draw a line in the sand, and we have everybody try and guard their own guy.
Matt Bradley falling away.
His bag, as they say, is deep. He's got every trick.
There's a clean 3. Ashworth run off the line of late. But a stop for San Diego State as they make their comeback big. Baker Mazzara, tough 2, pulled down by Brandon Horvath on the defensive glass.
Not a good shot there. You got to get 2 feet in the paint. Instead of playing off 1 foot and that runner, jump stop, under control, and then you have options. When you go off 2 feet, you have options. When you go off 1, you have only 1.
Bean puts it down and gets to the free throw line. As Tahiro Diabate caught him on the way up. It's not been a game of free throws, just 9 combined between the 2 programs so far.
First 17 foul.
I'm okay with that.
First on Diabate, only the second of the half on San Diego State.
Look at those shooting numbers. Are you serious? And it's not like Justin Bean is just shooting layups, folks. He shoots all over the floor. His efficiency is so rare. And I know the fans in Logan, Utah know about it, but anybody watching at home, that's not normal. And by the way, we talked to Ryan Odom, his head coach, and he said he hasn't been 100% for some of this year. He had an ankle injury that was sustained against Weber State. He played through it, didn't miss any games. I think he's okay now, but there was a stretch of a couple weeks where he was not fully healthy.
Called Trey Pulliam's name a lot tonight, have we, Casey? He gets it on the catch here, defended by Ashworth.
Oh, the starting point guard for the Aztecs, 0 points and 0 assists in 22 minutes of play so far.
See if he can create deep in the clock. Instead, lost the handle and gave it back to Utah State.
He didn't go strong. He kind of tried to baby that one in. But if your shot's not going in, JB, what do you do if you're Trey Pulliam? Dig in on the defensive end. Get your team a stop, get a deflection, get something to activate yourself.
Max Shulga fires down low. Darius dunks it.
That was supposed to be a switch. Matt Bradley was just a second late to pick up Dorius.
Bradley on the dribble step back. That was tough for Matt Bradley.
The two best isolation players in this game are Matt Bradley and Justin Bean. And so hard to guard because you can play good defense and then that step back move is there. I mean, he can get that shot anytime he wants. But on the defensive end, Matt Bradley, they're talking about it right now. This is supposed to be a switch. And look, it's too late. Mensah's at the ball, and Dorius is dunking it home, and Matt Bradley's shaking his head like, were we supposed to switch? You got to call it loud and early.
Isn't it the default for San Diego State?
Yeah, with Mensah. I mean, he's a guy that can, if I was Mensah's teammate, I'd be asking him to switch on every single screen because I know that he can definitely take my guy. We see pick and roll basketball so often. The easiest way to stop a pick and roll is to switch it. The reason why teams don't do it is because they don't have a guy like Nate Mensah.
Bean off the side entry. Now Shulga. 7 to shoot as Bean attacks. Spins back to that right hand. And his soft touch won't fall through. Mensah with the rebound. Dorius was hoping for the tie-up. Instead will take the foul.
Even though that shot did not go in, I am calling for Justin Bean to be that aggressive on every play. I mean, honestly, he plays basketball the right way. He's one of the best passers from the big position in this conference. 2.5 assists almost per game at the power forward spot. But, I mean, he's got to take this game on his shoulders.
You're saying 8 of the 37 Utah State shots, probably not a high enough percentage to close this one out at home?
No. Not enough.
Keyshawn Johnson needs help. Here's Baker Mazzara. Single digits on the timer. And they get it over to Trey Pulliam.
Look at Ashworth.
He's in his oxygen, isn't he?
Man.
Now leading the break. Bean trailing. Lines up a triple. Justin Bean.
Has improved so much in that area, shooting the three, right? Last year, just a 24% three-point shooter. This year, over 50%. Feed him the ball.
Playing through Mensah, he turns it over. Largest lead of the game for Utah State and the basketball. Ashworth gets it back. Got it! More like Steven Splashworth, am I right?
I love it.
His 5th made triple.
And playing off of Bean, right? If the defense is all the eyeballs are going to go to Justin Bean, you throw it to him, and then you come right off a dribble handoff. The defense doesn't want to leave Bean. You find yourself open.
Baker Mazzara gets the whistle in the corner. Which was the worst three-point shooting team in the Mountain West at the start of the night? Couldn't possibly be these Aggies.
It was. They were 19% coming in. You wouldn't know it. So far, 47% from deep, and they lead. The game of basketball is not complicated. Get it to your best player and let him go to work. Justin Bean, he can score at the rim. He can pass the ball. He's got 3 assists so far, and he can rebound outside of his area. He leads the conference in rebounding. He's already got 8 of those. And yes, he can also shoot it from deep. He is so much fun to watch, and he's ready to get a win and get this Aggie team off the schneid that they've been on the last couple of weeks.
Tell me a little bit more about this three-point improvement you were referencing earlier.
I love this improvement, right? This is a player who I think actually has an outside shot at playing in the NBA someday, maybe next year. And, you know, NBA GMs are like, hey, Justin Bean, you're 6'7", all right? Your athleticism is okay, but if you really want to play at the next level, you got to be able to show us you can shoot the 3-ball. And did this guy get in the gym and work or what? And he's seeing it pay off. 22 threes coming in. He's 1 for 2. So now he's got 23 three-point makes on the season.
As a Prep coming out of Moore, Oklahoma, he only had walk-on offers at Utah State, Utah, and now over 100 games of experience with USU, and you're telling me he can play at the next level?
Yeah, well, if you're a big and you can step out and shoot, that's what a lot of NBA general managers are looking for. Now, I don't think he's going to get drafted. He has an outside chance of getting drafted, but I've seen players like Justin Bean make the pros often.
It was a 1-point advantage for the home team at the half. They got it up to 15. Chad Baker-Mazara at the free throw line trying to chip away at that as we resume. And he was fouled on that corner three, so one more coming. Third double-digit scoring output in his last 4 outings for Baker-Mazara. Let's see if they can dig into that defense. One of the best in the country. Number 2 in the nation in defensive efficiency, but trailing by double digits.
They pick up a little full-court man-to-man. I expect a lot more of that in the remaining 10 minutes of this game.
Being denied, but it kicks out to Shulga.
Sometimes the best play is a broken play, right? That ball got tipped out. Shulga was shot ready, and because of the defensive scramble, he found himself wide open.
Big time answer.
So who else is going to step up besides Matt Bradley? That was one of the questions I had coming in offensively, and I think we have our answer. Baker-Mazara.
Ashworth had it deflected and taken away. Mensa and the Aztecs have the steal. They can bring it back to 10. Baker-Mazara wants to do exactly that. Hits off the heel and Shulga to his feet in time to grab it and get fouled.
Wow, playing with fire there. Aggie defense goes underneath the screen on Baker-Mazara, who's hit a couple already today. In fact, he's hit 3 threes. You might want to adjust your scattering report, go over the top on triple handoffs and ball screens.
Well, who had Utah State knocking down twice as many three-pointers as San Diego State? As we enter the 4th quarter of this contest, past the midway point second half. Ashworth
Pass.
wants to give it up. Dorius will have to earn it at the foul line.
See how he put enough air underneath that basketball to allow Dorius to catch it? If he would have rifled that one, I'm not sure the big guy would have been able to handle it. It's a difficult pass that Ashworth made look pretty easy. Here, and just enough, right, to go underneath it. That's what Matt Stafford's going to be trying to do this weekend, you know, when the linebackers drop, you know. How do you like my football analysis, JB? When the linebackers stunt and drop back, you got to hit that window just above the linebacker and in front of the free safety. How'd I do?
Amazing. Only 8 more basketball games for you between now and then.
Maurice Jones-Drew, I'm coming for his job.
And most importantly, that was the 4th personal on Nathan Mensah. He's averaging better than 2 blocks per game.
Where was Matt Bradley going there?
Idle Rock gives it right back. Bradley can redeem himself here. Leaves it for Johnson, who crushes a couple. So San Diego State can go small, Casey. They could go to Hiro Diabate the rest of the way. They will not have a rope. We're told that he is done for the night with a hip injury, though. So there's another lengthy interior player who's on the bench right now for San Diego State.
Well, if they want to close this gap, this is how they're going to get back in it. Right? Get some deflections and tilt the court downward. And nice job, nice unselfish pass from Matt Bradley to Keyshawn Johnson, the easiest bucket he's had all night. That's the reason why he shoots 80% at the rim.
Johnson holds here, waiting for Bradley to come open. He attacks Bairstow and then lifts to knock it down. Matt Bradley, one of the best mid-range games in all of college basketball.
Yeah, I love it. 43% of his total shots come from the mid-range. It's one of the highest in the country.
So after the Aggies had pushed it out to 16, here's the run from the Aztecs. And another one and done for Utah State. Baker-Mazara feeling it. He hits on the pull-up. Timeout, USU. It's back to a single-digit deficit for the Aztecs.
We knew this wasn't going to be a blowout. Both of these teams are too good. They got too much pride. And the Aztecs got Matt Bradley.
All right, back at Utah State where the Aggies hold a 7-point lead as we approach the 8-minute mark, but it's a 9-0 run for San Diego State after they had a pair of 7-0 bursts in the first half as well, leaning on their defense to climb back into it. At the offensive end, Chad Baker-Mazara, Casey.
Yeah, he's already working on his third double-digit scoring game in the last 4 outings. So if you're looking for a guy to step up and help out Matt Bradley, you might be looking for Chad Baker-Mazara. There are only 2 underclassmen that are in this rotation for Brian Dutcher's squad. Chad Baker-Mazara is one, Lamont Butler is the other. That is the future, the next few years for the San Diego State basketball program.
All right, so it's a season-high 15 and counting for Chad. He scored a season-high 14 previously against Colorado State. And with Trey Pulliam yet to find the scoring column, they've needed that secondary scoring, to your point. Trailing 7, 8 minutes to go. Aggies out of the stoppage, need a good possession here. Horvath rotates it over to Bairstow. Being over the top, and they caught Baker-Mazara with a hand around the waist.
Utah State is lucky that the referees called that. That was a terrible pass from Justin Bean that was going to be intercepted by Matt Bradley. Again, I know it's easy for us, right? We're in the booth. These guys are on the floor. Justin Bean has got to kind of realize that his team's in the danger zone of losing this lead that they have spent so long gathering. And even if he misses, he needs to let everybody on his team know that he needs the ball and he needs to be the one to create.
Those turnovers have been the culprits, opening this door for San Diego State. 3 USU giveaways in the last 2 minutes, 15 seconds, during which they have not scored.
Brandon Horvath, 4 turnovers. Idle Rock with 4 as well.
Idle Rock has to go get it here. Past a leaping Bradley. He slices through and sets up Bairstow.
Remember how we talked about Utah State in the first half, how good of a cutting team they are? That was another example of that, an excellently timed back cut.
And now a double dribble. It got caught up on Lamont Butler. This is nearly a pick 6, Casey. Instead, Idle Rock goes to retrieve it and picks up the assist.
Yeah, Matt Bradley defensively tried to go for the steal, and that gamble led to a 5-on-4 advantage for the Aggies, and they took advantage. The question is whether or not Utah State can close this game out. They've lost 4 games in a row in this tough conference. First time that's happened since 2018.
Bean calling for it. There's another steal for San Diego State on an errant pass from Ashworth, who's begging for the foul. Turnover number 14 for USU.
I know offensively Utah State, their strength is their ball movement. They lead the Mountain West in assists per game. But remember, they are without their starting point guard in Rylan Jones. And I think they're getting a little bit loose with the basketball. A lot of false motion on that last offensive possession. Pass with a purpose or drive the ball to the rim.
Butler over to Seiko. They're going the other way. Diabate fighting for position on the block.
That was the right call. I had my eyes locked on that, and there was an arm wrestling match going on with Diabate. You can't post with your arms. That's what Brian Dutcher's telling you. You cannot post up with your arms. You got to post up with your backside. Look, he's almost right in the middle of the key. He's trying to pin Horvath with his arms. Easy call. The official standing right there.
And so the choice now for Brian Dutcher is to go back to Nathan Mensah with his 4 personal fouls, Casey.
It's not a bad spot. It's not a bad guy to put back in the game. Leading shot blocker in the Mountain West, who's made 0 impact defensively in this game that I can remember.
Bairstow gets in deep. Took a knock on the back of his head there. Make sure everyone's okay. Bean got the worst of it.
I think Bean got pushed into him. Bean was trying to go for the offensive board, and he got blocked off, and their heads collided.
Yep,
oh,
good
no.
eyes.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Rylan Jones, the starting point guard for Utah, he's out because of a concussion, and he suffered it against Fresno State with an elbow, an inadvertent elbow. That was a brutal headbutt. We hope Justin Bean's okay.
There has to be some small sense, if not among the players and coaches, among the fan base of not again, right? Because they have been through this. They are in a season within a season right now, as described by Ryan Odom, their head coach. They just cannot get right physically to capitalize on those turning points.
Yeah, Brock Miller, one of their best players and a program guy, has been around forever, it seems. Their fourth leading scorer, he is not available due to a back injury. They hope to have him available next month. But Justin Bean, JB, Justin Bean is on the bench right now, and we don't know. We don't know if he's going to come back.
Well, their philosophy is predicated on kind of two main points, which I think both apply here to this season and to this game. One, champions always answer. And two, every possession matters. Well, with 6:20 to go and a double-digit lead, let's see if they can apply them.
And every team faces adversity, whether you're good or bad.
Bradley gets to that left hand.
Right now, the Aggies are facing some. They got to guard Matt Bradley one-on-one. You notice that they often isolate Matt Bradley in the middle of the floor, so it takes away any double-team possibilities.
Dorius up to screen for Ashworth. Corner three turned down by the Aggies. They'll go deep in the clock here. Brandon Horvath.
That was off the board. That should be an offensive goaltend.
Did it have a chance to go in here?
Yeah, that's a good question, I guess. But that ball hit the backboard, and if it hits the backboard, you cannot touch it. That ball was clearly not going in, but I've seen that call made many a times.
Great to see Bean back on the floor.
Yeah. You can see he's got a little bit of a shiner, a little swollen above that right eye.
Bairstow whirling into the lane. Finger roll won't go as the shot clock sounds. Claimed by the Aztecs. Mensah playing through 4 personal fouls. They'll get that stop. Bradley wants to take Bairstow. Look at the handle. Matt Bradley. Oh, when he wants to go, very few can stop him.
That was beautiful. That's all I have to say. No more analysis necessary. That was an incredible move.
R.J. Idlerock using the shot fake. Slips it into Horvath. He's denied by Mensah. No reset. 6 to shoot. And it's knocked out.
That should have been a flop warning on Chad Baker-Mazara down there trying to draw that charge.
Stephen Ashworth agrees with you. He's given that signal.
So Matt Bradley is a left-handed player, right? So he drives strong to his left. What's the counter move when everybody starts to load up? That spin move, and he's got 225 pounds of muscle to knock you backwards.
Into Horvath, has to work quickly. Lost the handle, gathers, could not score it. San Diego State with the ball. They've hit on their last 5 field goal attempts.
And again, Matt Bradley in the middle of the floor.
And down by as many as 16 in this second half. There goes Bradley again, separating and shooting but missing. Idlerock dared to let it go. And there goes Mensah to claim it again.
I want to pull this one out and get a good shot here.
Baker-Mazara off balance, bailed out by the whistle.
I'm not sure about that one. That was a 1-on-4. And Baker-Mazara gets the call. And look at this. Not the right call. Referees miss it sometimes. Didn't have a good angle. That was a forced drive and all ball on that strip.
17 fouls on each program now, so the free throw line will play heavily into this final 4:06. Rizal is at 90% for his season. Missing the front end, Bean is there for the rebound. 4 minutes to go, and Utah State with a 7-point edge. On the road here in Logan, Matt Bradley trying to bring San Diego State all the way back from down 16.
Spinning and winning is Bradley. A lot of emotion. This game is awesome. Don't go anywhere.
On your left, Matt Bradley with 17 points. On your right, Justin Bean with an ice pack. Trying to keep down that shiner.
Yeah, trying. They're trying to slow down Matt Bradley, too. You need to put some ice on this guy if you're an Aggie fan. Isolations aplenty. Look, he's been ultra efficient in his last 2 games, right? Utah State's not the only team that he's sliced and diced. And in his last 2 games, he's 18 for 23 from the field is Matt Bradley. Really impressive.
Credit to Utah State, meantime. When Bradley does miss, they have cleaned their glass. And of the 20 missed shots for San Diego State tonight, 0 offensive boards, no second chance opportunities for one of the best in that category in the entire conference.
JB, that is hard to believe. San Diego State came into this game as the 2nd best offensive rebounding team in the Mountain West. Only Boise State is better. And why is it important? Because offensive rebounds lead to the easiest shots. They almost always lead to dunks, layups, or fouls. And Utah State has got 9 second chance points. And obviously, San Diego State has 0 because they haven't gotten a chance to get a rebound yet.
Stephen Ashworth knocked down 4 triples in the first half. Buried another here in the second half. These are his first free throws of the game. And at a time where Utah State is 0 for their last 5 from the floor, they will gladly take those 2 confident strokes.
You got to manufacture points however you can.
Final 4 minutes from the Spectrum in Logan. There's another miss by the Aztecs with nothing to show for it in the offensive glass.
Really nice defense there from Brandon Horvath, who kept his arms high. Right, there was contact there, but you're allowed to be vertical.
Ashworth able to get it to the block. Brandon Horvath, bit too ambitious with that baseline toss. Bradley on the kickouts. 3 spins out for San Diego State.
That's the right basketball play, though, from Bradley. Instead of forcing it, he kicked it out for the open 3. I think maybe our audience might be sick of me saying this, but Justin Bean has to get a touch that lasts more than a second. Isolate him, get him on the block, anything.
From the wing, 6 to shoot. What a pass. And a huge rip for Brandon Horvath.
Could have been an and one there. A lot of contact at the rim. They let it go. Horvath finishes it anyway. He knows that when Bean gets the ball, he's an unselfish passer.
Back to a double-digit lead. And a 3 off the mark again. And Butler and Seiko have had looks. It's just not their night from the perimeter. Now 5 of 15 as a group. You might be 1 deep possession and a bucket away here, Casey.
No question. Time is on their side now, too. Right, they're going to take this shot clock all the way down. I bet you they start this possession at about 8 seconds before they try and penetrate.
Horvath keeps the door open. An offensive rebound for Ashworth. How about that? After we highlight the lack of offensive boards for the Aztecs, the Aggies get one in crunch time at the 2-minute mark and a fresh 20 on a reset shot clock. Back to what could prove to be a game-clinching dunk.
I called for Justin Bean to isolation. And again, I don't mean he has to shoot every ball. I'd like him to be more aggressive, but he needs to be the shot creator. If you don't have your point guard, Rylan Jones, out there, you basically give the ball to Justin Bean. He becomes your point forward, and he's more than capable.
We heard from Ryan Odom that rim decisions were huge. He meant when you got to that crucial decision point against the shot blockers. Here it comes from Bean. Can you come to 2 feet and make sound decisions? Wow. They get it back here off these San Diego State turnovers.
Brandon Horvath, number 4, and look at what it leads to.
To ice it. Bairstow crushes 2 more. Seiko flings it back out. A long retrieval for Lamont Butler. Bradley is trying to will the Aztecs all the way back. He gets the block here and some bonus free throws.
When it comes to 50-50 balls, sometimes it's a matter of who wants it most, who's active. And this Aggie team has been feeding off the herd all night. This crowd's been awesome. And Bairstow gets his 8th point of the evening.
Seven straight San Diego State opponents had been held below 60 points. Utah State is threatening 70 here to snap their own 4-game losing streak.
You hear the crowd right now? Just like football. Utah State football team won the Mountain West Conference this year. And they're letting them know about it.
.6 rebounds, 5 assists for Matt Bradley with his second free throw to follow. Does not look like it'll be enough tonight. Almarosh's a good player to have in this situation. 81% to lead the team in free throw shooting. Nifty behind the back to break the timeline.
And they don't have to score at all. They just take time off as the only objective here.
Here comes Ashworth. Slams on the brakes. Bounce pass. Horvath. And they'll count it.
This team sure doesn't look like they're 1-5 in the Mountain West, the way they've played on both ends of the floor. We talked about how good of a cutting team they are. They just have good timing, good continuity. They understand where they're supposed to be. They also space the floor really well with guys like Brandon Horvath, who you're looking at the foul line. A 6'10" forward who can stretch the floor, can shoot the 3 and pass it. But this makes sense. They've lost too many close games, JB. You knew it was going to flip at some point. They were 2-5 this year. Utah State 2-5 in 1-possession games. Some of that's luck, bad luck.
In the first 6 games against Mountain West competition, all decided by single digits and only 1 went in their favor. Wouldn't it be something here if they're able to finish this with a double-digit win over San Diego State? I want to visit something that Stephen Ashworth said. Ashworth stepping in for Rylan Jones at the 1. He said, Coach Ryan Odom and his leadership have been profound, was the word that he chose. And this isn't the end, referencing where they were in their season. I thought he brought that spirit tonight, and it was infectious with what Bean and Idlerock and Horvath and Bairstow showed up with that spectrum tonight.
No question. The only thing I'll add, it's something that we've touched on a little bit. This Aggie team is not whole. They don't have Rylan Jones. They don't have Brock Miller. Like, fans in Logan know all about Brock Miller, headband. He's a guy, he's a ball mover. He's an excellent shooter. If this roster is full, they wouldn't be 1-5 right now, but here we stand. This is part of the challenge that Ryan Odom and this group has to overcome, and at least for one night, they've done it.
Baker Mazzara and the Aztecs without a field goal for the final 4.5 minutes.
Well, Ryan Odom came here from UMBC to coach on a national stage, and the Mountain West Conference has not made it easy on him in the first year. Look how competitive, look how highly ranked these teams are. And I think it's going to be 3 teams minimum in the NCAA tournament, but a very real possibility of 4.
Ashworth with 17 points to lead the way, gives it up. Horvath with some winning moments down the stretch. This is Bairstow stepping inside the line with the finishing touch. 7 unanswered for USU to close it out, 75-57 over San Diego State. 11th win of the season for the Aggies. They are 2-5 in conference. The Aztecs fall to 11-5, 3-2. Something about this series, Casey.
The third straight home win against San Diego State. That's hard to do. No one else can claim that in the Mountain West. And Ryan Holmes got his biggest win of the season and his Utah State coaching career tonight.
I don't think we can stress this point enough. Struggling from the three-point line, 19% in conference, going up against the best three-point percentage defense in the league and one of the best defenses in the country. Ashworth sticks 5 of them. Utah State makes 10 of 24, and this was no fluke. I mean, they led for all but about a minute of this game.
Not a fluke at all tonight. This was an 18-point win, and they made 5 more threes. That's 18 points worth of threes. That's the difference in the game.
Our thanks to Joe Williams, our producer, Derek Manning, our director, Ian Martin, Matt Gale, our Fox Sports crew. Another great night in Logan for Casey Jacobson. I'm JB Law. 75-57 is the final. Aggies over the Aztecs.